Hi, I'm Dave from boinaband.com, and welcome to day 3 of the 7-day song tutorial on G-Funk, sponsored by Tyson Willett. Check him out at soundcloud.com/Tyson Willett. Yesterday in day 2, I taught you how to make a funktastic synth bass. Today in day 3, I'll explain how to make that iconic Whirly G-Funk lead synth, as well as adding in some big strings and a bass pad. Okay, let's begin. We'll start with that lead synth, so right-click and create a combinator. Name it Ouch My Ears. Then create an instance of Thor inside it. Initialize. Open up. And now I'll just add in some notes so we can hear the effect. As per usual, I'll explain the notes afterwards. So, the notes are in and the gloves are off. I should have meant musical boxing. Anyway, create a multi-oscillator underneath our analog. And for the oscillator 3, we're going to have an FM pair oscillator, just to accompany the analog one. Turn the analog one to a nice and sharp pulse wave, so keep the pulse width near the edge for an even sharper tone. And for the multi-oscillator, we're going to turn that to a pulse wave, this one right at the bottom. Detune slightly on interval detune mode, which is slightly cleaner than the random one. And turn the FM pair here to full FM. Now, send through the multi-oscillator, but not the FM pair oscillator. Why, you might ask? Because I'm crazy! No, there actually is a reason, but I'm going to come to that later. Remove the filter, so the high end isn't cut off. That'd be pretty disastrous for a synth this high-pitched. And turn the sustain on the amp envelope to full, just so it doesn't lose any volume over time. And hit the chorus on and change the dry-wet to about 1/4 of the way around, so more dry than wet. This just thickens up the sound a bit, so take a listen to it so far. So we're part way there, but we're going to get that iconic slide next. Turn on the portamento up here, and we're going to turn the portamento down a bit, so take a listen. 35 is pretty cool. Might change the balance a bit more towards that analog oscillator as well. So the multi-oscillator is just filling it out that little bit. See, without it, it's a bit too simple, but with it, just gives that extra thickness. Now, for that mysterious FM pair oscillator that seems to have a worrying effect on my sanity. In the modulation bus routing section down here, send oscillator 3 as the source. To the destination, oscillator 1, frequency modulation. A cool feature of Thor that I recently found out is that you can apply frequency modulation to any oscillator, not just the FM pair ones. I'll quickly explain what FM synthesis is. When you frequency modulate one wave by another, it alters the sound, changing the waveform into something more interesting than a conventional wave. If the wave has a harmonic relationship to the original signal, it can make more musical FM changes. However, if it doesn't, you can make some seriously weird sounds. Check it out. I'll just mute the multi-oscillator for now so you can hear it. But if I take the amount to about 40, you can hear it just makes it a bit more interesting and changes that timbre, more prominent sound. But if I start pushing it further, you end up getting what can only be described as Optimus Prime's dog in a mangler. So, since this isn't a threatening musical message to one of my favourite Autobots, Soundwave of course being number 1, I'll bring it back down to 40-ish, and that's all there is to it. Sweet. I'll explain those notes now. Okay, so we start on this B flat note here, just as the bass did, and works its way down the key, jumps up an octave and works its way down to that E flat, just as the bass did as well. Meaning the two riffs work together, even though they're miles apart in the frequency spectrum. It's quite a strong message of racial harmony if you think about it. Now notice the riff is strongly based around the semitone here as well, giving that powerful tension that semitones have the habit of causing. Lots of semitonage. And then it does that fiddly little G-funk thing, that is the technical term, which is just 2 30-second notes here, this diddle-doo, followed by a 16th note, and then hitting that long note here. This can also be achieved with triplets, but it's so fast that it's difficult to tell the difference. But yeah, I do that section 3 times. The second one's slightly different, as you can see here. It doesn't hit that low B flat, and it doesn't resolve to the E flat either. Then we do it again with the just keeping it exactly the same as the first time. But then the last one, I've used the same rhythm, just changed the notes to something more happy and made it resolve back to that B flat, since this is a happy G-funk song. What? They exist. Today was a good day. Sweet. So let's take a listen with the rest of the track. Sweet! Anyway, join me in part 2, where I'll be explaining the wonders of a bassy pad to provide the groundwork for a big, epic section to the beat, as well as chucking in some strings on top of it. See you there!